father was a fighter who battled against the communists in his home country of Albania in the 1950s. He met my mom in Yugoslavia and asked her to wait for him. Then he set out to build a new life in the West. She waited for 9 years. Then he sent for her from his new home in Canada. They moved to Belle River, Ontario, and opened a restaurant there. First my brother Dash was born, then my sister Trish came along. Our family worked hard and grew strong. I was born on November 1st, 1969. My name is Domi. This is my story. Oh, and by the way, I'm a fighter too.
You don't know me yet, but you're gonna.
Belle River was a perfect place for me to grow up. Everybody knew everybody. There was always something to do. I was surrounded by a loving and giving family.
He had that twinkle in his eye all the time. That's what we always used to try and figure out, like, where is this guy coming from? He just had so much energy. He would get bored easy. And that's one of the reasons I say, thank God he's in sports now. I don't know what he would have done with all that energy, but he was made to be an athlete, that's for sure.
I remember the real good things, and won a lot of championships, and from a small town, we won everything. You know, we won all Ontario, and we always got moved up because we were too good for the division we were in because we were from a small town. So we always played against the AA, AAA teams in baseball and soccer and hockey, of course.
He was always following around my older brother, who was, 4 years older than him. And he could keep up with those guys, no problem.
When you were like 15 and 10, that's a big difference. So when he played with 15-year-olds, and he was 10 years old, he got hit just as hard, or no one took it lightly on him, and he was a 10-year-old little guy.
I played soccer in Windsor, and that's where I kind of elevated it was my number one sport. I ended up playing on the Canadian national team, and I could have went to Europe when I was 17 years old, and I stuck with hockey, and hockey was probably my third or fourth best sport.
I think he could have had his choice between 3 professional sports. Football, he's kicked with the Argos in those charity contests. Soccer, I think he played in a professional league in Toronto a few years ago. And, of course, hockey, and I think that's his main love. On November the 3rd, we won our first junior championship after 4 tries at the final.
That championship game in Windsor, at the Windsor Stadium, was something I'll never forget.
He was in grade 9, and he was, if you can believe it, the same size he is now. And he absolutely dominated that game like I've never seen him in any other time in his life, I don't think.
Not only won, but because I got all the field goals and extra points. But just the feeling I got, like at the end of that game, just like in a hockey game, I was totally spent.
And it's right in here. He said it was a 49-yard field goal. I said a 42, and it's a 43.
Right here is 45?
45!
Okay. Well, I guess this is where I learned how to channel all my aggression into sports, and this is really where it all started. And I must say it was a long time ago, but it was a fun time and a good memorable time. Now look at this. You can tell times change when there's 5 different kinds of machines here. Water, Gatorade. None of this is here when I was here, except there's a 1 pop machine that I ended up dropping when I was tipped over with 2 of my buddies, and the teacher came around the corner, and I ended up dropping it, and I got in trouble for it. I got blamed, but I took the rap from my friends. Speaking of, here's my old locker.
Yeah,
212.
The only one without a lock on it.
Yeah, actually, I never had a lock on it. That's my claim to fame at this high school. I never had a lock on my locker. Because I guess I didn't need one, if you know what I mean.
I'm proud of his efforts for a small town kid. This is the hockey dream of Canada. This is the way it goes here. From all these small towns, these kids, they put out the blood, sweat, and tears to play in the NHL.
When I was 16 years old, I got in the car with my uncle and my mother, and I drove 7 hours from Belle River, Ontario to Peterborough, Ontario. And this became my home, the Peterborough Pete's home.
I covered junior hockey for 14 years in Peterborough, and when the Petes drafted Ty, that was the intention, was that he was coming to town to be the tough guy, and they compared him to Stan Jonathan, who was renowned as one of the toughest guys who ever played for the Peterborough Petes, and that's why they gave Ty number 8, Jonathan's number.
It was kind of interesting when he first came to us. He had a hand that was swollen up like a catcher's mitt, and wasn't sure quite what was wrong with it, but he had gotten in a fight before he came to us, and I think he went halfway through training camp with a broken hand before he said anything about it.
And I'll never forget the first story I did with Ty. I was sitting in a press box, and Ty wasn't playing because he had broken knuckles from the summer. I said, Ty, hey, sit down, let's talk. I'd like to write a story about you. So we talked for about a half an hour, and at the end of the conversation, Ty got up, started walking away, and he stopped dead in his tracks, and he turned around and he said to me, "Write in your paper, Ty ain't no goon. Ty ain't no goon."
We went into Kingston to play early in the season, and they had what was considered to be the toughest player in the league, and obviously our team was talking about it before the game, and Ty kind of piped up in the dressing room and made a point of saying, reassuring our older players not to worry about it.
And I was like, yeah, no problem. Yeah, don't worry, guys. I'll take care of him. Meanwhile, I'm thinking to myself, gee, this guy's pretty big. But sure enough, I got out there, and my first shift, I lined up against him, and he was a pretty big guy. I was looking up at him, and I said, you ready to go? And he said something to me, and I was like, hey, you ready to go? And he didn't look, and I said, as soon as the puck drops, I'm getting you. I'm going after you. And he's like this. I was like, oh yeah, puck dropped. I just dropped my gloves. And whatever happened, happened. I think I flipped him down. I started punching him when he was down. And, after that, I got through the whole league. Hey, Domi dropped LaForge. And I got respect from then on.
We were in the playoffs against Niagara Falls, and they were heavily favored against us, and the fans were on our team, and at one point they were calling Ty a monkey, and somebody threw a banana on the ice, and Ty just simply skated over, picked the banana up, and peeled it and ate it right on the ice. It was really something. We
won a lot of games, again, before teams got off the bus, because they didn't want to face him. Ty played consistently every night. He finished the check hard.
Now we've got Kurt Tomlinson and Ty Domi going at one another at center ice, and the fans have been looking forward to this one all night.